This one. Did that one work now?
At least. Not here,
Can you just remind me, I have to restart OBS.
Oh, okay.
Base commands here are not standard.
Some things.
Okay. So everyone knows where to find the documentation, right? Now, the only other things that you need to know about this, so if you look down here, you see you have different buffers. So you have like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all this are different buffers where you can, write code. So there are like different tabs on your editor. So, take an empty one or delete some of the code that you have there if you don't have an empty one, if you're on the Raspberry Pis. Then on the top left corner, so you have the classic buttons that you need for playing music. You have the run button that is basically your play. And then you have the stop. You have a record button, which means that once you're going to be live coding, once you're going to be like coding something and you want to record it, you can press record, have fun playing, and then you'll have a recording of your jam at the end of it. You have a save where you can save the buffer into a file. It's going to save into a .rb file, which is a Ruby file. And this is really cool because it's a text file, basically. So you can send your code to someone that has Sonic Pi. You can just send it through text and email or whatever, and the person can just load it inside the buffer and play your music. So it's easier than sending.
Does it also record the changes in the RB file?
No.
So you just get the final.
You get the code. Yeah. Yeah, you get the code.
Yeah, but if I want to say make a 3-minute song and then it changes after a few bars and then it changes after a few bars, and each bar is a different code loop.
You can code it that way. You can code it in a way that you're gonna just press play and it's gonna
comment stuff.
Not necessarily. You need to find a way for the logic to work, but you could code it in a way that you don't need to make any changes live, and then the person would just have to run it and could hear it. But if you're, just coding a jam, for example, you're jamming, then yeah, your file that you're going to save is going to be, the last version.
And it can work in libraries, and it can import a library of music to my code?
You can import samples. You can make your own libraries. You can make your own functions like you would with any programming language. So if you wanted to, you can make your own, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Also, what the guy mentioned before, having the code saved in a source control, you can see the history.
Yes, you can also do that. Yeah, that would be something cool. Yeah. So there is room for experimentation. If you want, I'm thinking of giving you maybe just a quick intro, and then you guys just go ahead with the tutorial, and I'm gonna just be going around and give you some pointers. That sounds good? Okay. So 2 ways to play sounds in Sonic Pi. You have MIDI sounds, which are basically your keyboards, and then you have pre-recorded sounds that are samples. So if I want to play the equivalent of playing on an electronic keyboard and choosing sounds, I'm just going to use the command play. If I use play, I need to pass it a value. So values, I can either pass it a number, which will be a MIDI pitch, or I can pass it the name of a note. But if you don't know names of notes or anything, you can start just with numbers. So if I do that, yay, I have a beat. You can record, yeah. Okay. So I can either play this a sound. I can choose a different keyboard if I want to with this command. So I can choose, for example, this keyboard. Then I will have a different sound. Okay. I can also play pre-recorded sounds. So if I want to play samples, pre-recorded sounds for drum sounds, for example, then I need to use the keyword sample. Then I put a colon. And also, like, Sonic Pi is pretty good because, I don't know if they can see it. Yeah, they can see it. It's pretty good because once you type a keyword, it usually gives you that drop-down menu where you can have all your options. So, like, if you don't know what's available to you, you can just choose something and just hear what it sounds like. So, for example, I'm going to do a drum sound. I'm going to say drum heavy kick. There you go. Okay, so I have a kick. Okay? So, the magic of the whole live coding thing happens with a function that is called live loop.
Live loop.
Yeah. So live loop. Live loop is basically, it's an infinite loop. It's a loop that it's never going to stop. It's always going to run. But the thing that why it's so special inside of Sonic Pi is because it allows you to make changes inside that loop and run the program again without having to stop the program. So live loop is what allows you to actually do the live coding. So to use a live loop, you use the keyword live loop. You have to give it a name, and we'll see later on why. So you just give it a name. This can be anything, like my first loop, whatever. Keyword do, your code goes in the middle, and you finish with the keyword end. Everything in Ruby, mostly, it happens between do and end blocks. That's kind of like a convention. And now I have a loop that will continue to run and that I can make changes to. But the thing is that there's one important thing that I forgot to put there. If I want to play a sound and I want this sound to have a pause before I play it again, I need to say to the computer to pause. So I need to give it a sleep value. So sleep just means wait. And for now, I'm going to say wait 1 second. So sleep 1. So this means that every 1 second, I'm going to hear my drum sound. Okay, so if I run this, okay. Now I don't have to change, I don't have to stop the program. I can make changes. I can choose, well, let me keep that. I can choose to add something.
Controlling the tempo.
I'll get to that. So I can change things while it's happening. I can also say, okay. I can change the amplitude to make it louder or less. So this is where the whole magic is happening inside live loop. There's like infinite possibilities that you can do, yeah? Questions until now? The tempo. Okay, the tempo. The tempo, so the speed, by default, it's on 60. So it's like a second is really a second. So sleep 1 is really sleep 1 second. It's like 60 BPM per minute. If I want to change it, I can just use the keyword use BPM.
Use BPM.
And then I can put the BPM that I want. Yeah, I can do, I don't know, 135.
Oh, you give it on like, okay.
And then,
a global
yeah, you can also give it individual if you want. You know, you can go experimental with it. You can also code it so that it changes at each loop iteration. You can code it that it syncs to a specific loop.
Cool in the gang.
Okay, so now my loop is going to be much faster because change the tempo to 135. Okay, so yeah, so what I suggest, let's just take like 10-15 minutes. You've got the tutorial. Okay, start going through this and just start making some beeps. Like just start typing some things, and I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna answer your questions, and then we come back, I'll show you a little bit more stuff, experiment a little bit more, and we go like this.
For the like sample of the drum samples, the names.
It's all there. So if you type the keyword sample, oops, then you see after you type the space, you should see it appear. Yeah. And also, anyway, in the help, if you go to the help, you see down you've got like a tab that is like samples. And there it's like you have the names of all the samples. It's all categorized. So like ambient sounds, what are the samples in there? And then you have the names of all of them. The bass drums, what are the samples available? And you have all the names here. So all the documentation is there. Yeah, the sync will work best only if this one is already running, and then you start this one, then you will hear it.
Question. When I write play, you said like to add the notes like C1.
So everything is in symbols in Ruby. So everything starts with a colon, and then C1. One is going to be really low, so depending on the synth that you're using, it depends. Like if you're using a synth that is a very bassy sound, then C1 can work. But otherwise, yeah.
Sound seems to be fine, so you can start using those again.
Now you need to be able to hear yourself, otherwise it's not fun. There you go.
I can run home and get an extra pair of speakers and Bluetooth dongle.
No, you don't have to do that.
It's like I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes.
I just do it on my laptop and have Bluetooth.
So, Yeah.
You sure? Yeah. Thank you. I'm really ready for it.
Uh-huh.
I don't think over gave me
He's already off. So yeah, here because you didn't complete the loop, it's gonna error. It's gonna say that you have an error. But you can do it. You can say you just have to
I
complete
just
the
did
loop.
this one.
Yeah, this one is fine. And then if you're doing another loop, make sure it has that same format of that loop, the name, the dude. We did not super sync. So this means
That's why I
that like the computer's running really quickly, right? So it doesn't understand how to play the sound because
Because it doesn't
there's
have
no
the
pause.
breaths.
Yeah, you're never telling it to wait. So it's
Wait for
trying.
what?
Well, if you're trying to make music, right? So
Yeah.
like there's a space between the sounds and the
Okay.
music. So your live loop cannot run if there's never any space.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need to do a sleep of some value.
No problem.
Also playing with the piano experimentation. Jumping into new things. I like the fact that it always plays. Even so, I found that I had a syntax error on the first play and it didn't play.
Yes, sometimes it crashes.
So as long as I'm playing and it plays control out, it's going to play the last correct state.
Yes, some errors will make a whole program crash, and some errors will just make a specific loop crash. So sometimes, depending on the problem that you have in the code, sometimes it's not going to just make everything crash.
But still, because it's kind of like every time I
Yeah,
change the code,
yeah.
it will still play the latest good state.
Yes,
Even if they crash the whole.
yes.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, and sometimes in live situations.
Well, it's still programming, so.
Are there no sharp? Is there no?
So there is no
sharp
simple.
is with the S. So if I wanted to play like C sharp, for example, it would be CS, and flat is D.
Oh, okay, that you can play them together.
Yeah.
Both of these?
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure what to do.
And then that the amp can put it in the space here. No, between amp and one. Yeah, if it's not blue, then you have a problem. Okay.
What is it like this?
I like the beginning of the sound. So it's how hard you're hitting it. Yeah. So this is attack level. So that means like the kind of the volume that you're gonna do that attack. And that attack, what you're doing, you're delaying it a little bit. So you're making it a little bit softer. It's not right on it. It's a little delay. Because you have 0.2.
Okay, but no, it's a last delay.
Yes.
So then it would be after this, it's a 2 seconds delay. Then
Yeah, sometimes it can be like over because if your sound is very short, but then you put two, then you won't hear the sound at all because it's too much compared to the length of the sound. Yes. It's a good idea.
I like this one. This is good.
Is there like a search function? You know?
Unfortunately. Besides like the drop down menus, like once you know, put in a keyword.
Is it like an arpeggiator or something?
There's effects.
Yeah, what?
So you can play around with effects. For example, like an arpeggiator, or you have like mod keyboards. So like you have like mod sign, mod saw
Mod?
that will kind of like arpeggiate your notes. So
But
like,
if I wanted to do it like on a specific chord or something.
yeah, you can find ways to code it. You can use the chord keyword, and then arpeggiate like that. You can look at wait, let me find you the example. You can like this one is an interesting one to look. If you're looking at my screen right now. This snippet of code here.
Which one is this?
This is in the help, in the examples, the chord inversions.
Oh.
If I remember well, let me just find out everything else. And of course, you can put it in the library.
Where did you get this one?
In the help, in the examples.
The chords one?
stuff like this that you can do. Everything you can do if you have the logic for it.
Chord degree.
Like what is telling me? What do I tell them? Is it this one?
So
Like
this
this?
is all the parameters that you can use to
And all
change
this
the
together.
sound. Yeah, to change the sound. So,
Where is the sound? Is this one the sound? What represents the sound?
so here you're in the synth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like the note that you're playing. Amp is the volume, how loud you're playing. Pan is where you're putting it between.
That is one of them sound?
Yes, the decay is
Yeah.
the curve, the sustain, how long it sustains, the release is the end of the note. So these are all the
Okay,
parameters.
because
that-
the H and the EQ inside of the
Yeah.
tile, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I got you. It's like filtering away.
It's like all the parameters that are accessible for playing with that.
Okay, it's my time to take a smoke. Can I take a pipe? Yeah?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I just want to show you, if anyone is listening, I just want to show you one other thing that you can play with once you've mastered a little bit like the basics. There's other kinds of loops that you can do in Sonic 5. So sometimes we want to play something a specific number of times, right? We don't necessarily want it to loop indefinitely. So we can use this type of loop where it's a number, so 4 times and do, and you finish it with end, same as you would with a live loop. So you just say how many times you want to play something,
Okay, and then you can go to the next one and
do, yeah.
okay.
And then inside a live loop, if you want things to happen at the same time, not like one thing after the other, but you want to have like stuff happen simultaneously, you can use in thread. So in thread, same, it's that keyword, you open it with do, you finish it with end, like anything else. And inside there, whatever is inside that in thread is going to happen at the same time that what follows it. So this is going to happen at the same time as this. Okay, so if I play it, let me just comment that out. If I play this, I have the kick drum. I have the kick drum playing, and at the same time, I have this cymbal here playing And in all these keywords, so if you're not sure what in-thread does and you want to read on it, you just go in the help tab, you go in language, you find in-thread, and then you have all the documentation. And then, yeah, and anyone needs to take 5, we can take 5.
Okay.
Where's the documentation of the?
You go in lang, and then you just find its alphabetical order.
Is it 8T or?
It's I, in-thread. There we go. Oh, cool, huh? Okay.
Ça
So
fait assez
with
discret.
that, you would put it, like you would put it around whatever code you want to have here. So, ideally you want to put it inside the live loop still. So if you want all this to be with the effect, you would put it right after that live loop. Yeah, with effects, your effect, do, and then you close it. Yeah, but you need to do it on the new line.
Yeah.
And then you close it and whenever you want it.
What a legend.
Yes.
these headphones?
Yeah. Thanks. This is all from your house you have?
Huh?
It's all from your apartment you have a bunch of headphones lying around?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
My girlfriend, so.
Wrong number of
Careful.
apartment,
Ah,
given
okay.
0, expected 1. So this is maybe, is that a function?
Just trying to make a lift.
Okay, you got boys and girls? I'm not sure what the price. Is there a way to increase the volume?
It's treating it like it's treating a function. I'm wondering why is it doing it like a function. Try to change the name. Maybe if I do this thing, undefined local variable or method GC file. So now, where did you use your GC file?
Is there a way to control like the volume locally? Because the default is very low.
So the default, well, you can check in your editor, it's in the press. So you can raise it, and so that's where you do like the local thing, and then your editor.
It's running on you use Linux like this.
I use Mac, but I know Linux.
It uses when I start running it in Linux, it starts the Jack server, which is also
Okay, yeah.
for audio,
Yeah.
and there isn't a really good way to control volume in Jack, so I can't.
You can run things through also like you could run it through like a game mode and change the audio.
You don't have to do that for Jack.
You have,
In the CTL.
you have cadence. Like on the touch play. No, this is the Jack expert by the way. No. But
If I need some other tool, I can also try that.
no, to like change volume.
How do you change volume on Jack? Because how do you change volume on Jack? Because
There's a live loop, right?
Yep.
And then infrared,
Like on the
and
play
this
now.
around doing it,
Yeah,
and here, in the loop here. Or they,
You just
Okay.
studio control.
or they just do a bunch of infrareds.
So you shouldn't have to do a bunch. Where is your live loop ending?
You can change the volume.
There's an end here.
Also,
Okay, right. So you
But I
don't
want-
want to do. You don't want to do like another
Let's
infinite
ignore
loop.
this for 1 second and
also
focus on
it
this.
changes the hardware
So
output from.
InThread assumes
Right.
that there's going to be a block of code coming after it.
Oh, you need
Okay.
So if you just have a live loop and then InThread and a block of
There was
code, it's an
Pulse
error.
audio.
Because it's built to be playing at the same time as
The
something
Google
else.
Ultimate
So
System
you need a block of code that comes after your thread. And then
It's something
loop
I've tried
here,
before.
that's
You want
another
to learn?
infinite loop.
Oh,
So you're
so I
kind of
don't need
doing,
this
no,
loop.
no,
So what do
exactly.
I need?
Well, there you go. Now you have like a live loop, you have InThread, and you have another block of code. So
This ends this one or this ends this block?
Probably by
This
default
ends
maximum.
Okay, how do I make that? So I want
It's all
the
maximum.
bass drum every
Hold on.
2 and then the snare every 0.5. Where do I put?
okay, so this is gonna play at the same time as this. So this is good.
Right.
And then you're closing your live loop.
Are you
This
sure
is
you
good.
are putting
Okay.
Now the tricky thing with InThread is that if you want this to play at the same time as this, you want your threads to be equal length.
Maybe
Right.
we disconnected it.
So here you have 2, here you have 0.5. So
Well,
how many times you
so
have to
need like
play?
times
What the
4.
levels are
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
So 4 times 2.
Times.
Like what do they call it?
CTL.
Okay.
And
Like
Oh.
Is it?
Okay, and now
Yeah.
Control, you need cadence.
so I'll also add this thing. How do I do an if clause? Do I need this end to finish the live loop, right?
yeah, you need a, yeah.
this one.
So, but now you don't need this one because it's extra, okay. So you can do,
Wait, no, this closes this one. This closes this one.
Like this cadence thing, it's really not
This is closing here, and this is closing.
everything together.
This
Oh yeah, we can do it. Yep.
Okay, is this it correct?
Yeah, you don't need the dupes actually for if statements.
So this would do like drum every two, snare every half beat.
But this is gonna happen
Yeah,
after
yeah.
this. So this is gonna. If you want this to happen also at the same time as this and this, you need to put this also in a different fret.
Like this.
Yeah, on the new one. Yeah. Yeah. So this is gonna happen at the same time as this one. Both
Okay.
these things. So now you created 3 threads.
Yeah, I think I need to add another sleep here.
Then
Oh, wait, no.
it's about thinking of the timing, but you can have also interesting effects if your threads are not the same length.
Right.
So it's also that.
Let's say I want this on the second beat. Like first beat, second beat, or like on the second and fourth, not the first and the third. So I do like another 8.
You can. You can. There's many ways that you can do it. So I'm gonna let you think about it. There's many logic that you can do it. You can play with the volume. Also, sometimes the volume is on, sometimes the volume is off. So it's actually playing all the time, but sometimes you hear it, sometimes not.
Maybe I'll just do it like
you can do it like true or false. You can like do lists of booleans, whether it's true or false. If it's true, it plays. If it's false, it doesn't. Like
Okay.
there's like
Interesting.
yeah.
Mynah, right? You know how to configure
Oh,
this.
cool, nice. Okay.
Yeah. You know how to configure the QJack for Bluetooth? Because I think
There's
it's
also this.
trying to send it to the audio jack.
It is trying to send it to the other jack. I never managed to make it work through Bluetooth,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I may need to just use
Jack, yeah.
This is what's coming out from the jack. We used to going all the way to 0, like sending the full dynamic range to the out. And then
there's an issue with the QJack. It doesn't send the audio to the jack.
Which computer doesn't have
Oh.
this one also doesn't? Because if you can plug it on Windows, it's gonna work.
No, okay, so
Okay.
the
But,
get around with the problem is the audio from upstairs.
but,
The QJack doesn't work.
I like the QJack. I like the QJack.
You know how to configure
you're
QJack?
making
Here
it
we're
thread
using it
with
over
the
there.
volume.
Okay.
So,
And is the full audio set?
it's not the best practice. Like normally, like, what is it that you want at the same time?
How does the
Well,
is
it's
it
nice.
or is it,
You need to type line.
Yeah.
And just look at like it.
yes, but to get the full audio now.
Oh, it's
So why did you
So,
choose it?
you have
No,
cadence?
no, no, no. You like it?
You get cadence, it's very much nicer.
No, I get
Is it like this terminal package cadence?
I think you need its own
But you
repository.
can do that without a thread.
Go into Cake Studio,
Lightly
that's what it
is a
uses
thread
cadence,
itself,
right?
right? So
Cake
if you
Studio.
have two lights,
just install
they
everything.
are going to play.
It's like a package, like a
Install everything.
Yeah. Is there a repository?
Yeah,
or
so you don't need
I'm
to
just
thread. You
running
would
the
need
lines
thread
now. You
if you
will
want
download the
stuff to
dep which
happen.
installs the repository. Look
Inside
for
one light.
cakes.studio.
Like if you're inside one light
Kilo
and you
X-ray
want
dot
stuff to
studio.
happen at
And
the
you have
same
like
time,
slash
not one
repository.
after the other, then you need a thread.
I'm just running for it now to see if it actually works.
So that's why it doesn't really make sense to use it as
Sorry. Okay, now I get it. So the inside is not. So if I wanted, they could have put like a thread inside the light.
Yes.
And you put them in the fridge. But they do.
Yeah. But otherwise it's not too good.
Cakes.studio.
Yeah.
Kilo.
Kilo X-ray.
How's it going? Is there more
This is going-
setups? And...
This is going good.
Okay.
It's all like expert programmers.
Nice.
I just installed a bunch of
Cadence.
some pro audio and
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Some
Cadence 2,
This is for me the easiest.
Cadence or Cadence 2?
Everything inside.
What iPad mod you have? I'm compiling that one.
Okay, is the user Uber?
Another 5-10 minutes of experimenting, and then we get back on the main screen. So if you need to take a break at some point, now's the time.
I need a direction to do something.
And like we're trying to figure out some technical issues so they can actually get the sound in the headphones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To the way to send you
Moment
stuff.
that works.
So this is KX Studio, and they have
Weird.
this stuff in front of
KX, I'm saying
I
KX.
noticed, by the way,
Kilo X-ray.
Kilo X-ray, yeah. And that's like a kilo.
You go there, there's no package.
As in,
You need to just mirror it ourselves.
and then there's like install Ubuntu, you have to install this package, then this, then this, and then this. And then I ended up get update
Change the
running.
DNS
And now if I use something a bit more graphical,
Sorry, this is to get the Bluetooth enabled.
this is to, I'm enabling the cadence, but they to do the volume. Why do you need YouTube?
But so cadence will allow me to do volume control and enable Bluetooth.
So it's
Enable
like
what
it's
you're
a
trying to do.
suite of tools.
It's a GUI.
Yeah, it's a GUI for stuff, and basically Jake is just a sound protocol, and then you can have multiple applications running, and you can route them together. So you can have like a mixer node, or know that you could compress or just like overgain stuff,
Okay, cool.
or run it through reverb, or distortion, or whatever.
Carla is convenient for this. You can save your sessions, do a lot of plugs.
Where is the bag? Like just a black bag. It has some beers
Yeah, here.
in the front.
Look did not sleep or sing.
So that means that you're trying to play your live loop, and you didn't tell it to pause at some point, so then it's like kicking out because it doesn't have it.
Maybe I need to sleep first.
Because you're doing an infinite loop here. Why not there?
Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, there's a sleep here. Hold on, I'll just do this.
Yeah, in general, we don't want to use the keyboard loop. Because if you're using the keyword loop inside a live loop, it's like you're,
But then my live loop only played once.
it shouldn't mention from the front.
Is the example
Because maybe in the example it's showing you like just what's an infinite loop first, but otherwise you're making an infinite loop inside an infinite loop.
Let's see now.
Since it's like super construct, and people like everything, it's very easy to install.
No, but like the song file was already there. So
You did not see first thing.
played like the loop once and then it's done.
Yeah, scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, scroll down. Okay. Because you remember what I told you? Like
Right,
in
right.
thread,
Mhm.
expect something to come after.
Okay, so I don't need this one in thread?
No.
No, but people are having problem every time to take the song file.
Yeah.
Just have it
Mhm.
here. Just
No.
let people do it.
I see, okay.
This is
Anyone sitting
The
here?
hardware.
Anyone sitting here?
No, you can play.
No, I mean if you're having still issues.
This one will have the same issue.
Yeah, it's very
Why?
small. The relationship to the volume.
This is
So you just
what kind of, this is Windows. Because whatever you plug in, it just like goes to the main.
Ah.
Pretty quiet. I'm getting there. I'm ready to
Very
install it.
Yeah, that works.
I've been testing it. I actually have the source code compiled and running there.
The song cost fallacy.
Now,
How are you?
I have cadence running Okay, it's installed, but then I need the jack mixer. No, meter. That's the meter thing. You have the meter.
It has at least one meter.
The meter is all the way up. So I can go for it.
Yeah, that's and then if you click on Katya, it will show you all.
Index all.
It's actually neat, but they have captured system and plans and how do I add some I can see it, but then I need to add something in the middle. How do I create
2 minutes? 2
Every
minutes.
block is just a program.
So is there like a program that increases the volume?
So is the meter going up all the way?
No, if you go this, it can go further up. Keep on.
And what? Okay, so maybe go to Sonic Pi, Olive 7, that you can see.
The volume is only quite a little bit up as well. I can hear it, not quiet.
I mean, you could put in a compressor, but I don't know why.
Sounds like what I want to do. I can use maybe mod UI. Mod UI here now.
Volume is coming directly from Sonic Pi?
Yeah.
And there's no option there to give you extra volume?
There is, it's on the way up. I think
Okay,
it could go like higher than
There's a command AMP, AMP, like when I do the live groups and stuff, you can say what's the
when I
volume.
run it like anti commands or I do it like in some general equation.
You can put some effects on everything, so maybe the rest.
You can raise the level. There's an FX in Sonic Pi just called level. You can say level 1, 2, 3, 4. You can turn it up as much as you want.
So I need something that can do it to all my commands. So something that will set it like more of a state. Think of a global variable.
In the preference here, there's master volume. It's all the way up. Master volume.
Go to
Do you know the way to configure what mass can do? MP3s to waves?
MP3 waves, yes. Socks does that, I think. Like SOX. After web MP5, there's one using socks. Yes. Sierra Oscar X-ray. SOX, zero is correct.
Well, I'm trying to the majority.
You just add T space WAV, like type WAV, and then
Okay.
I think.
I mean, you can turn off safe mode, but I don't know.
So let's try and turn off safe. Turn off safe on the right web
There's a FX for level. So any loop you can give it, you can just boost the level or compress the level down.
Like in cadence.
No, in Sonic 5.
No. Just to overdrive it very, very, very hard.
So like you can say amp 1, amp 2, and you can move whatever. Amp 1 half. Yeah. That's what you can do. I hear something.
Huh?
I hear something.
Yes.
You don't have to make the tutorial back.
Yeah. Help. Here, tutorial, except also like you can if you're like preset, yeah, exactly. And there should be also like here you can take it you can see what in the tutorial path.
I have a question. What can you tell us about the community? Are there like repositories or libraries or samples people releasing sets of code?
There is a forum that is called the Internet Forum. So this is on the Stonify website. And the community there, that's where I hang out personally. Yep. And then you should have community. I don't know if he opened it to everyone. It used to be open to everyone.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, sometimes you can't post because I think the only people that can post are the Patreon supporters.
No, I see.
But you can,
But you can
like,
still see.
yeah, you can still read it. And if you want to become a supporter, like I'm a supporter of like $1 per month or something. And the community is amazing. Like I post a lot there, and people help each other, and so people doing workshops and performances, and yeah, it's very cool. And then if you want to perform,
I don't think I'm ready yet.
at some point, if anyone wants to perform at some point, so we do have like a Sonic 5 collective, and we're like open to get new performers, and we perform a lot online, so everything is streamed. So if anyone at some point is like wants to, test their live coding skills, and it's very beginner friendly, so you don't have to be an expert or anything to start performing.
Experimental, so to say.
Yeah, it's like the community, the general live coding community, like the Top 5 community, is really, really, really welcoming. So it's even if it's your first event, it's not the type of event that they're gonna ask you for your experience before they book you or something like this. It's like, oh, it's your first time, welcome, and like, so it's easy in that sense. Do you guys want to have a little bit more info?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get back here. My mic. Okay. So, everyone understands this code now, right? Like with the in thread and the times loop. I think I saw most of you playing with that. Is that clear? Yeah?
Yep.
So let's move on to like
When would the second
another.
part play
Sorry?
though? When would the second part play though? If it's a live loop, wouldn't it just stay in the?
Which second part? Here?
Oh no, sorry. Everything is all in one piece.
Yeah, so this is one live loop. This would play at the same time as this.
And if you do a bunch of in threads, then
Yes, so I can do as much as I want. I can add another in thread here. Sorry. Close it with an end, and then I need to put like another block of
you
code,
have to have
right?
the final one in the end. You can't just have
In thread is a function that expects something coming after it. So
wow.
if you just put in thread without anything coming after it, then it's going to error. So the last block of code always needs to be without the in thread. But I could do something like this, for example. And then I could do like this, and then I'll do that 16 times. That's interesting. That's helping me introduce something that's interesting. One of the most fun things to work with in live coding, at least in my opinion, is randomness. Because when you start to code with randomness, it's like giving your computer creative freedom. Like you're giving it the freedom to do something and to surprise you, because you don't necessarily know what it's gonna do. So that becomes really interesting, and you can apply randomness for anything, like for the note that you're playing, for the amount of waiting time before sounds, for where the sound is gonna be placed between left and right in space, for a whole bunch of parameters that are affecting the sound, right? So for example, let's say here I'm making my last block of code here with this sample. Let's just listen to it the way it is right now. Sound.
There's some wine over here for who wants it.
Jimmy?
This is getting
That's nice of you.
proper workshop.
lesson.
I'm loving it.
Not sleep. Not sleep to sync. I did 2 threads and tried saying that there's no sleep.
Yeah, because she just said that if thread expects something at the end,
This is not on.
like to have afterwards.
Oh, it's because it is,
piece.
no? Just find a different outlet, like the
Just have
outlet
the 2
behind you is
parts. So
clearly on.
the second one wouldn't be
It's
as
disconnected.
Sorry, technical
You
issue.
need one in thread and one not in thread, but you can't have just an in thread.
So yeah, if there just means that there's another one afterwards. So,
So you need
Really?
one just and then just one in thread.
if you have like 3 parts, you just have 2 in threads.
While we started
So,
out with
that's Shikaim.
Tell me when I should play something. Yeah, no, with Sonic Pi it doesn't work Bluetooth for some reason. So there's no sound at all, right? It's not just.
This is
Maybe reboot.
Mom?
No, this is not.
Mynah,
Yes.
do you know a quick command to copy a line?
We could just plug it directly on the line.
Yeah, we can plug it directly to what?
There is no sound.
You need a lot of them.
Is there a shortcut to duplicate a line?
Nope. Just copy paste.
Let me end it.
I found out to comment outline, which is /
Yes.
אפשר לעשות נגיד something like choose true, false if it will play or not play.
Yeah. Choose is yeah.
Like this, choose.
Sounder.
So I need to put it like all of the sample inside the if.
Yeah, you'd have to make a list of some things and then attach it to .choose. Like, I understand what you're trying to do. The logic is good, but you can't use choose that way because choose is not a function, it's a method. Right? So your JavaScript, so it's different between a function and method.
So choose work with what?
Choose will work if you attach it to a list.
So but this is not a list.
Yeah, this is a list of true or false.
Yeah.
But then
But I
it
need
will
to call it
choose.
in a different place or to do
But I'm not sure it will you can try it. You just have to reverse it. You have to do true false and then .choose. Yeah. But I'm not sure if you're gonna get the result that you're expected because I don't know if it'll understand that true false means play or don't play. But try
Yeah,
it.
I need to do it inside the if.
Yes, probably.
So
Yeah.
I can do it like
Then that will work. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Fine, but exactly what trying to tell me, because I'm using this, want me to do this,
So just show your log. So close the.
Front. For
So
front.
it does not
Right.
accept options such as this. So if you want to do this,
Okay. Yes, so
okay.
for anyone who, if you ever encounter this problem, there is a override setup button. Tiny red button when it needs to be pressed.
Oh, okay.
After if I did also UNN.
I'll get back to you. Let me just. Okay.
Oh my! Why did
No.
you? Where did you plug it?
After if do you need a UNN?
No. Yes. Do you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay. Is it working? Can I run it?
and run it, but it's not run.
I guess it means don't close the lights.
Can you because one is done.
Already done like the
The
lights.
light on.
Okay.
We're good?
Yeah.
Are we good?
I guess.
Okay. So, what I was saying. We have two threads here. Now I have this beat, right, that is playing. What if I don't want to play it every time, but also I don't want to code a whole bunch of logic to tell the computer exactly when to play it. I just want to say to the computer, play it sometimes, you figure it out, make something cool, okay? So this is when you use randomness. So there's many ways I can do that. One of the easiest ways is to use a function that is, it's an if condition with one in. So, for example, if I add this here, it's going to say it's like rolling a dice. It's going to say there's one chance out of 4 that the sound is going to play. So it's like you're giving it a probability. So if I run this now, and let me just adjust a little bit the volume here. This doesn't need to be so loud. Okay. I can go further than this. If I want randomness between a range of values, let's say the volume, I want to play it sometimes, but I also want the volume to change from time to time. I don't want it to be always at that same volume. So I can use that function called rrand. And rrand takes 2 arguments of decimal numbers. Really?
It works now.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So here I'm using rrand. It takes 2 decimal numbers. So what it means is going to choose a value between this value and that value. So now, not only I'm going to play in a probability of 4, so there's one chance out of 4 is going to play, but also the volume is going to vary. So if I play this, sometimes it's louder, sometimes it's slower. If I make that, you'll hear better. I can also wear this in space. Left, right? And I'm just gonna go left, right to the beat setting, right? Let me rate play the sound faster, slower. So rate is effective speed of the sample, yeah? Okay. Another cool thing I can do, I can add effects. Actually, you know what? I want to add it only here. Now you hear like the echo thing going on with the reverb. You can add your own samples. It's like the reverb effect. You can change effects. Mixture effects like different sound. Basically, it is by vibe. So you can tell which bit you want it to affect. So if a bit is more important, like then you're gonna see it be more drastic. So you hear it more vibe. I do vibe. Okay.
And what does mix do?
Do you see it fine?
Mixed is how much of the effect you're gonna have in the sound. So if you have like full mix, it's like you're gonna hear only the effect. If you have like Yeah, it's an envelope. So if you have like a little bit in the mix, and you're gonna have the natural sound with just a little bit of the effect in it. And again, all these stuff is in the documentation inside Sonic Pi. So if I'm going faster with these things, it's because I know you have the information inside the software. So I'm trying to give you the info that you don't have to make it more interesting. Okay? Another thing I'd like to show you. Let's take this loop here now that I did. By the way, if you want to stop a loop quickly from playing, you can just, you don't have to comment it out. You can just use the keyword stop next to it. So if you're playing, you're live coding, and at some point you're tired of hearing a certain loop, do not delete it, because once the loop is in memory, it's going to keep running even if you delete it, because the program is going to remember it. And then once it's deleted, you can't do anything with it. So the proper way is to just stop it, and you do that by just adding stop. Okay? So here, let's take a look at this loop here. So this, I did something a little bit different. Let's hear it first. Sorry.
Yes,
The BPM is too fast. Let me do.
It was fine.
Not how they kick drum all the time. Okay. So here. Adjusting the volume so we can hear well what's going on. So what am I doing here? So here it's like I want two things happening at the same time, but I want a pattern. I want a rhythmic pattern going on. So how do I code the logic to say to the loop to go through a pattern instead of doing the same thing every time?